Hi, my name's Josh Mullen and welcome to my YouTube channel and another episode of Talent Pathways. As I mentioned last episode, today we'll be focusing on the current structure of the football academy system. I feel that the current under 23 system isn't a suitable platform for youngsters who are looking to progress into first team football, so today we'll be looking at the negatives around the system and also alternative options. So the current structure. The Premier League 2 has just been introduced, which is an under 23 league with the aim to improve the number of homegrown players making it into first team football. The idea is to give young players at those clubs similar experience to the one that they would have given the opportunity to play in the first team. As the Premier League Executive Chairman Richard Scudamore suggests, we are always trying to develop more and better homegrown players, with a record 67 making their debut last season. However, I feel there are a number of negatives. The points that Richard Scudamore will make are valid. However, I feel the figures around the homegrown talents can be developed and improved. I feel that the FA should work alongside organisations such as the EFL and the Premier League to consider extending the talent development process from 18 to 23 for all clubs, as players develop at different times. Currently, there are just a total of 24 professional football clubs participating in the under 23 league. For young athletes, the academy journey can have its ups and downs and can certainly face challenges on the way. However, the biggest challenge of all in the football transition is making that from academy level to professional. So the image here is an image of the predicted England team for the future, which was made in 2007 for the South Africa World Cup, and this shows that only one player, which is Theo Walcott, has made it into it and had a career with England. So that's 1 out of 11. So that shows how the talent development programme isn't successful, and it can be improved. A negative of athletes who are wanting to develop at the moment, football athletes, is that they can be late developers. As I already related back to the biopsychosocial model previously with late development, it would benefit them if the talent development process was extended. Also, sport injuries. Sports injuries can have a big influence on an athlete's development, and if an athlete continues to pick up injuries at a younger level, they can be pegged back and also maybe released. But if they extended the talent development process, they could maybe drop down a level and still progress if they did have the talent once they've come back from injuries. And for example, when looking at the England image, centre midfielder Michael Johnson had a number of setbacks involving injuries, and I believe that if he had the chance to maybe drop down a level and work his way back up, he could have progressed instead of dropping out of the game at a young age. And as a quote from Dempsey 2008, sports injuries can have an extremely detrimental effect on one's health, mood and future. This backs up the point that the Football Association should work alongside the AFL and Premier League to extend the development process for all teams to 23 instead of 18, as people develop at different times and they can pick up different injuries. Also, there's a Paul McGuinness article which can be found online, and he also suggests that the under 23 system isn't a suitable platform for professional footballers looking to make it into the first team squad. When answering the question, do you think modern academies are failing, McGuinness explained, I think everyone knows that the last step before reaching the first team isn't realistic enough. It doesn't prepare players well enough to go into the first team in front of big crowds with senior and older players. I must agree with the points made by the former Manchester United youth team coach. So when looking at a couple of alternative options, one option that could be introduced is by the Football Association introducing an under 23 age league. At the moment there's under 18s and 5-year step up to under 23. If there was an under 21 stage, it would maybe allow the late developers or people who pick up injuries the chance to play both under 23 and under 21 if they're young enough, and that would allow them to carry on progressing to make it up into the first team. If this was introduced when looking at the image of the England predicted side, I think this was a benefit with them, as this would have helped the country have younger players playing each week in, week out, and they might have made that World Cup squad instead of only one of them making it. Further option is allowing only under 23 players to play. At the moment, the current under 23 players allows older players to play in it too, which kind of defeats the object of the under-23 league. So I think that should be introduced too. So altogether, I believe that extending the talent development programme is a must for academy football if England want to develop at the national stage, as it would offer youngsters a more realistic opportunity to step up into the first team picture at their chosen sport. Obviously, I've focused on football. It will be interesting, as I've always mentioned in episodes, to look and get involved with other sporting examples. I think this would then help homegrown talent when focusing on the improvement in England football, as England haven't won a major honour since 1966. After watching this episode, one very interesting podcast to listen to is from Ray Wilkins, expressing his disappointment at the lack of chances given to English youngsters. So it's on TalkSport and it's a really interesting podcast. Next episode we'll be reflecting on this YouTube channel so far, and there are some references. Thank you for listening. If you do have any comments, please comment below.